Welcome to Rewiring Health, your hub for transformation and empowerment. I'm your host, Kelly Kessler, and I'm here to guide you in aligning with your true self. Discover the freedom and vibrancy within you as we release patterns of self-abandonment and transcend the health impacts of stress. Get ready to unlock your potential and embrace the freedom and vitality you've been seeking. Now let's dive in. So this morning I was with my 2-year-old son and he wanted to do this puzzle. And so it's a wooden puzzle, has about 12 pieces in it. And so he's just now learning how to orient the pieces, figure out how they go and look at the pattern of the puzzle to fit it in. And so he's just learning this. And so there was one piece that he had and it was clearly in the wrong spot. And so he just kept trying to shove it in and hit this piece into place. And I guided him towards picking another piece, but he was headstrong and determined to make this piece fit into there. And so he's just hitting it in there, getting frustrated. And so isn't this what it feels like when we try to fit ourselves into life or situations or circumstances that don't fit us? His frustration and then continuing on to do it harder and push more is exactly what we do in these situations. I know I've experienced this, and maybe you have in your life, where you're at a job and it just doesn't fit. There's something that just feels off. It's not aligning with you, but yet you're like, maybe if I just work a little harder, maybe if I just do a little bit more, it'll feel like it fits. But you're just trying to shove that puzzle piece into a place that's not meant to be. Maybe it's in a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship that you've outgrown or that you don't resonate with anymore, or it's stifling your growth, or it's draining your energy. The demands and expectations of others are putting a damper on your own freedom and life that you desire to live. And so it can be scary removing yourself from that situation. So what do we tend to do? We try to make it work. We try to figure out a way so that all the peace is there and everything can be smooth and we can be part of this relationship. But yet there's still this internal resistance. It's still like we're still trying to shove that puzzle piece into a place that doesn't fit. And maybe you feel this in your life, that you're meeting this resistance in so many areas and you're afraid to make changes, maybe because we are creatures of habit. We get stuck in the familiar of what we know. And so we just try harder. We think if we put more effort into it, if we just go at it and we try to put the puzzle piece into the place that we want it to, that some way it will magically fit. But no matter how you look at it, if we're not meant to be in circumstances or situations that are not meant for us, no matter how hard we try to shove that piece in and pound it into that place, it's just not going to fit. And so think about your life. Are there any areas where you feel like you're just trying to shove that puzzle piece in, trying to make it work, exhaustively trying to mold yourself to fit the role that you think you're supposed to play in that moment, or the expectations that others have put on you? What are you putting yourself through to make that puzzle piece fit? That you're inevitably experiencing a lot of pain in the process of trying to make it fit when it's never actually meant to fit. The thing about life is that we expand and grow. And if we are on a journey of healing, if we are on a journey of self-awareness, self-expression, self-alignment, then there are going to be places where we no longer fit. And that's okay. And it's to be expected. But yet we can easily get stuck in these patterns where we try to make it work. We exhaustively try to keep our situations, circumstances, and relationships stable and the same, even though we've grown and maybe we've outgrown them. And this is a really, really painful piece, because we can either go through the pain of trying to make that puzzle piece fit into a place it's not meant to be. And we can stay in those places that stifle us, that feel suffocating, that feel constricting. Or we can navigate the pain of leaving them, going into the unknown, going into the unfamiliar, and going into a place where we hope it all works out for us. Either way, it's challenging. But just like that puzzle piece, no matter how many times you try to make it work, it might not fit and it just might not be aligned with you. And so I share that example because I know I've experienced that in my life where I've tried harder and harder and harder to make things work. I've stayed at jobs way too long, thinking if I just make these changes or work a little bit more or do a little bit more, then it'll finally feel right and I'll feel appreciated. It never worked. I've stayed in relationships where I've silenced myself and said, okay, if I just smooth it out a little bit more, say the right thing, and keep myself small, then it'll be okay. Well, it just prolonged the pain because I wasn't meant to fit in that place. That wasn't where my puzzle piece was meant to be in that moment. And so, where in your life are you noticing that you're trying to make that puzzle piece fit and you're just getting frustrated? You're exhausting yourself trying to push it into place, but it's not actually meant to be there. Where in your life are you experiencing that their circumstances are demanding more of you than what feels aligned with you? This is a question that when we ask ourselves these questions and we ask ourselves, where is it that I am trying to mold myself to the external world? That we can recognize some of these areas that we're expending our limited source of time and energy. It's only when we start to recognize the places that our puzzle piece is meant to fit, that things feel in alignment. They suddenly just smoothly fall into place for us. And that's when we're actually living this life where we're noticing that we are being loyal to ourselves. We're coming back home to what we desire and where we authentically can live and express ourselves in the fullest manner. You see, when we're trying to make a puzzle piece fit in a place that it was not meant to be, we sacrifice parts of ourselves. We stay small. We limit our expansion, our growth. We silence ourselves. We sacrifice our time and our energy just trying to make that piece fit. But at the end of the day, we can choose to change where we go with that piece today, or we can keep on trying to shove that piece into place and hope it works one day, and hope that maybe with enough time, it would actually feel right or be okay for us to be in that place. But inevitably, sometimes the piece is just not meant to fit into that place. And you have to choose a different role. You have to pivot. You have to think from a larger perspective and remove yourself from the puzzle for a moment. And then you can see things a little bit more clearly. And so if you're noticing that in your life, that you are really meeting that resistance, take a step back, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what is in alignment with me? Is this what I desire? Do I feel safe and at peace in this situation, circumstance, or relationship? And allow yourself to have space to receive the answers to those questions. And that is when you'll have that clarity to see that maybe the piece is meant for some other place. And maybe you are meant for something larger than the circumstances you're trying to fit yourself in today. I hope that helps. And if you resonate with this, I invite you to hop on a discovery call with me where you can dive into understanding where you are in your journey from self-abandonment to self-loyalty and how you can start coming back home to yourself and allow yourself to live in alignment from this day forward. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. If there was something in this episode that really resonated with you or a message that stuck with you, please share it with someone else. It's only through sharing these messages that we can start to rewire our minds to feel empowered and live the life that we truly desire. Please subscribe so you never miss an episode. And again, thank you so much for tuning in to Rewiring Health.